It's not hard to recognize that Link from the Legend of Zelda games fulfills perfectly the classical archetypal character role from the hero's journey. This archetype in storytelling makes for much more than just an excellent game. The Legend of Zelda is a metaphysical treasure trove of ancient wisdom with something profound to teach us about ourselves, for those at least who have eyes to see it. A form of ancient psychology is unconsciously embedded so deeply within the archetype of the hero that much of its secrets are hidden in plain sight. And it leaves us with a feeling that there's far more going on in the land of Hyrule than meets the eye. We are about to dive deeply into the secrets of the hero's journey archetype as expressed through the Legend of Zelda. We will explore how it relates deeply to both the sacred mystery traditions of antiquity as well as your own life. The archetypal symbol of the Triforce or equilateral triangle is used psychologically as a symbol of reconciliation of the lower instincts and the higher self. Among many other things, it also represents the path of transformation in the human psyche. More generally, the triangle is used in countless amounts of iconography in commercial enterprises such as shoe companies, airlines, banks, social media, and the list goes on and on. It truly is one of these transcendent symbols that's absolutely everywhere, and yet hardly anyone really contemplates upon it or understands it. In esoteric orders, the triangle is often used as the central archetypal symbol for Freemason iconography, Illuminati imagery, alchemy, as in the Philosopher's Stone, and even on government money and flags of certain nations. Very few dedicate the time and effort with contemplation and meditation required to cultivate a deeper understanding of the Triforce or the archetype of the triangle in general. In order to take a deep dive into the Triforce and how it relates to the hero's journey embodied by Link, you will need to open your mind and awareness to this perspective, as this is not your typical video game analysis. We will explore the Triforce as it is presented in the Legend of Zelda story, and how this archetypal symbol serves as both a roadmap of human psychological development as well as a focal point for contemplating the development of one's higher self. The Triforce can be used as a key in your own life to unlock a new understanding about yourself and the world you live in, if you dedicate yourself to studying this model closely. It goes many dimensions deeper than I'm going to explain in this presentation, however. It is, though, available for you to discover these hidden secrets for yourself if you really want to. The audience shouldn't merely see a one-for-one relationship between light and dark, good and evil, masculine and feminine, etc. if they want to integrate the age-old teachings from the Legend of Zelda into themselves, making it a part of their integral worldview. The audience should think less in the extremes, but instead understand both the unity of opposites principle and the nuanced and varying degrees between this unity of opposites. There's so many shades between these extremes I'm talking about. After all, the Triforce or Trinity represents unity. It's 3 in 1. Within that unity, however, exists millions of degrees or varying levels of light. In the story of the Legend of Zelda, each main character embodies one core element of the Triforce, to the exclusion of the other elements, I should add, which means that each character is unbalanced. This is also true of Link, although there is a very good reason why this imbalance eventually changes for him, which we will explore later. The addition of Dark Link in the upside down triangle is something I've added because he represents a very important psychological shadow element for each of these characters and the traits they represent. The positions of these characters on this Triforce are very carefully placed, as we shall explain in great detail a little later. Just remember that the passive elements will be on the left, the active elements will be on the right. Masculine and feminine, or active and passive representations of the psyche, are often presented with the feminine on the right in classic Western esotericism. However, this game was not created from the mind of a Westerner. Either side will work, it just depends upon your perspective. So let's start with Ganondorf. Of course, he represents power, which means energy available for effort. Ganondorf is cruel and takes what he wants by force. He has all of the energy or power and none of the wisdom or courage. A truly powerful, wise, and courageous character would never act as Ganondorf does. Ganondorf represents the extremes of power, totally disconnected from his wisdom and courage. While it is clear that Ganondorf completely lacks the wisdom and courage to make peace in Hyrule, some think he doesn't lack any courage at all. However, when we look closely at the word courage, or the root cor in Latin, this means heart. We can understand that courage is several levels higher than bravery, for example. Real courage can only come from the heart. Ganondorf may be brave, which means appearing to have courage, but Ganondorf lacks true courage. Princess Zelda embodies the element of wisdom. She is said to be wise beyond her years and intelligent enough to rule her kingdom. Princess Zelda is known for doing what is right for others to the point of being extreme in her own self-sacrifice. She's not always able to defend herself or others. Princess Zelda has all of the wisdom, yet lacks the power and courage required to be a fully integrated or self-actualized character. And Link, of course, has all of the courage, but lacks the wisdom and the power. The higher aspect of courage is to boldly do what is right despite the consequences. The lower aspect of courage is that when it lacks wisdom or power, it could actually do more harm than good. So when I'm talking about these attributes of the Triforce, we're going to explore each attribute has a higher form and a lower form. Or you could think of it as having a higher self and a lower self. It should be no surprise that Link, as the game's main playable protagonist, is the only character who begins his journey just as imbalanced as the other main characters, but is slowly able to grow his underdeveloped traits or level up throughout the game. This is what the hero's journey is all about. In the beginning, the hero is at a low level of resources, strength, and confidence. Only through struggle, experience, and the help of many other characters, both good and evil, will the hero be able to integrate the wisdom and power that he needs in order to meet the challenges of the story, eventually returning harmony to the world as he undergoes his transformation. This story has been told time and time again over thousands of years. What makes the great stories of the hero's journey monomyth so compelling to us is not the stylistic choices, nor the dialogue or the cool gadgets and magical items. We are compelled by great stories because they contain unconscious messages about our own lives. The audience quickly becomes bored with the story if there's nothing in it for them. Good stories contain relatable characters. Like our own hero's journey in life, we love seeing the character develop and grow from the imbalanced, immature hero who reminds us of ourselves into the full-fledged, heroic embodiment of courage, wisdom, and power who vanquishes the evil villain. Look at this pyramid for a moment. Aside from the height, what is the primary difference from the top to the base of this pyramid? Think of each individual stone as a person, and the position of each particular stone in that pyramid as one's personal level of development, one's journey in the present moment, right? It's where you are right now on your hero's journey. You're somewhere on that pyramid. You're a stone in that pyramid, and your goal is to move up. And then think about how this relates to the higher and lower self. What is the distribution of the individual stones at the base versus the top? There are far fewer stones at the top than there are at the bottom, of course. The pyramid, like the Triforce, is a powerful psychological symbol worthy of contemplation. The symbolism of the Triforce opens up an astounding number of possibilities and interpretations, all of which are valid when you understand that every individual character in Hyrule is on their own hero's journey at the very same instant Link is embarking upon his own journey. The 7 main character archetypes of the hero's journey become far more fluid and interesting when you begin to consider this idea. After all, the world of Hyrule wasn't created by the golden goddesses merely to provide Link a chance to get grown, as it were. Just like the world wasn't created just for you, and yet at the very same instance, it often feels that way, right? As you are always the exact center of your own world, and everyone else at the very same instant is both on their own hero's journey and simultaneously playing any one of the other six archetypal supporting roles to everyone else in their lives. Having said that, let's get back to Link. He's the hero and our primary focus after all. Just remember that when I talk about Link and the character archetypes, I'm really talking about you. I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about everyone in the world, including all the Links in the Legend of Zelda universe, if that makes sense.